Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. August 20th, we're going to review 0-day options today. I took on SPY and yeah, this small account challenge. Another nice day. Really pretty big price action again. Cranked up the IV a little bit. Let's see, we had 6 points, 6.5 points today, so nice range. Yeah, let's get right into it. Today, I don't know if the price action was way better or I was just doing better, but yesterday and today I've just been feeling better and more confident. If you watched yesterday's video, I mentioned how I was more confident from that day, even though I was red on the small account. But P&L doesn't necessarily mean it was a good or bad day, because I stuck to my rules, which was always a good day, and then I had the right ideas. I just had some unfortunate stop outs. But let's go over today. I'm not too anxious in the first minute. I'm not like I have to be there at 9:30 market open. I try to be, but if I have to do some other stuff for a few minutes, I'm fine. I like to let it kind of set up some stuff, build some liquidity, and so I'm not just hyper channeling in the beginning and I'm all off. So this morning though, probably would have served me better if I was on a little bit earlier, because I maybe would have been able to see this. I didn't get on to here. Or no, I was right here. Yeah. So I did see this white. I put that in, and once it broke that, I considered chasing it, but that's early candles to be chasing. Not ideal timing for me. But that is definitely a play to take, potential. So caught that, or didn't catch that one, but saw it. Got purple charted in here, and red, which I wasn't too sure about because it's just right here. But let me turn that music down a touch. I was trying to figure it out because feedback was low, but let me see here. There we go. So yeah, it did break through there, and I was here about here. And once it went down, I was trying to figure out, all right, what was the bullish control here? Looking for support and resistances, trying to figure it out. And I put in this gold, which I think was perfect. Resistance here, support here and here, flipped into resistance. Those building liquidity, broke it, retested it, and that's why I put that one in there. That one comes in very useful later, and even glancing at Emperor and, well, actually I just looked at Emperors today, but they never had that one. They had a different one. So I think Emperor just copies Eric because that's what it's looked like to me, but neither one of them had this one, and I like this one much better than theirs. I'll show you why. So sold off in the purple. A little sad. I mean, that's a big move there, but it was okay. I was waiting for this potentially set up. I wasn't too sure about it yet, but I was like, it could be. It looks good right there. And if it broke there and then retested there, that would have been a perfect entry. With this purple as your stop. So yeah, came down. Here's 20-day, this red line right here, and built little liquidity here below 20-day, came up, retested it. I put in gold. I put in this red. The red looked like, yeah, maybe it was good. I didn't want to start taking puts though with such a small retracement. Even though early morning, big volume, of course it doesn't need much. At this point on the 30-minute, we hadn't really gone anywhere yet. Hadn't completed the inverse cup. So I was looking for some sort of head and shoulder or some sort of break of the channel after some retracement. And sure enough, it happened. And I was like, I'd be scared. Gotta go for it. Gotta send it. I think I took that trade. Let me see, actually. Yeah. So IV was high. I was like 25%. And so this contract costs $77. So basically double what my normal contract is. I'm trying to stick with a similar delta. 30-ish, above 20, below 40, unless if it's really cheap, and I don't know. Yeah, so this was like 2 out of the money, 1 out of the money. I was at 10.06 I gotta put, so yeah, right on that candle. Broke, had a little retest. I was like, okay, I'll just go for it. I kind of didn't like it because this purple is so high up here, so it very well could have retested and then and came all the way back up here if it didn't, stay below gold. So this was my stop, so I didn't like how far it was from that. But it had broken the gold, did make a nice little head and shoulder, did reject 20-day for those reasons. I was like, all right, I'll send it. And it just a little move here. let's see, I sold it at 10.11. Yeah, on this candle. So hard holding through here. This line wasn't here, of course, this green line. I did not have the privilege of that early on. All I had was this purple and gold. And so I didn't really want to wait for it to break that because that's pretty far up. This was a small move from here. Of course, I wanted a line down here. This was the inverse cup close. And then we also have like yesterday or some days high. But I didn't. Since it's only one contract, kept it tight. 77 cents to 93 cents on that trade. Small profits. It would have been like, what was it, 10% more if I closed it before that green. But again, you can't really know if it's going to keep selling in this one. I basically was kind of waiting for a green candle, more or less, because this selling did look like it was slowing down, and I didn't want to try and hold through more liquidity being built because I was so close to my open, because I opened on the breakout and not on, resistance or a retest. I mean, it was a little retest, but it's a tight range. So anyways, nice first little trade. I'll show you the trades here, then I'll show you the P&L in a little bit. Next trade was 326. Wow. Yeah, I didn't trade middle of the day because the contracts were expensive, and I was like, I only have like one, maybe two more trades. So I actually opened up the big account for some potential, and that's when things got pretty crazy. I squandered some of it in the middle of the day, but let me show you here. This trade I was so stoked on. So once it broke here, let's see, where are we? Yeah, broke here and then like didn't complete going in this purple. I was like, this seems like it's tapering. So then I put in this green from right here as a support, these three supports, flipped it on that resistance. And I don't know, those other guys, they didn't have this one. Maybe this is a trend line. It's not an algo. I don't know. To me, it's all the same, more or less. I mean, I kind of get it, the difference. One's building liquidity, one's not. This one was definitely respected though as a resistance and a support here. So put that one in, and I don't think I had put it in yet, but I just wanted to identify if there was some tapering. Keep me from FOMOing in also. Let me just look at some of these trades. Like the first one. Wait, where's my time? What? There it is. Why is this so big? Destination? All going through Citadel, baby. 1027. I guess I don't know if you guys can see that. 1027. I think that was but yeah. This was 590, 800 or 8, and then 850, then 640. Wait a minute. Oh no, that was a buy. So 590 to 8. Oh yeah, that's right. So I averaged into this one. It kind of sucks that I did that, but 590 to 8 was a nice little move. Let me just show you the time on that. 1027 to 1029. What was I thinking? Yep, broke red, just like it did here. So I'm trying to get an earlier entry instead of waiting all the way for gold. And then also I had this green as more confirmation of resistance. So I was like, this green is gonna be my stop. Would have gotten a little sooner, but it's like, I'll just go for it here. It was really close to the high, like right near there. It just broke the red. Had a green for the stop, and then it just started flushing. I'm like, oh, that's sick. 1029. Yeah, so closed one here. That's where I got a little greedy. Closed one here. It did break the gold. Came down, retested it. I'm like, okay, this thing's gonna keep going. So I think I got more right there. I got another one. Yeah, I bought another one there at 1031, unfortunately. 1031 on this retest. Got one, and it's just grinding up. So if you see here, this is still resistance though. So technically my stop wouldn't be until it broke through that. Or if it broke the green over here. So that's where I could have been patient, because this was a 10 minutes of hell. You don't always know though. Sometimes it breaks here and just keeps flushing, I guess. So, but yeah, so I just held through all of this. And if you look on like Emperor's chart, they had other ones that maybe I didn't have, but they didn't have this green one. My green one is right here. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so averaged into that one. 1031, which kind of sucked. Sold one. This is kind of lame too. 1038. So it broke and ended up just wicking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just sold that one. Or did I sell both? No, I just sold the one just to reduce some risk. In case we did close above it, I guess. I thought the candle was over and it just then wick. And then I came here and I'm like, wait, there's a perfect entry. Because this is right at the resistance. So I think did I buy back in there? Yeah, when I have more money at my disposal, I kind of, sometimes I'm flipping in and out quite a bit. So sold one there. No, I didn't. I think I thought about getting another one, but I didn't. And then I had one left from the average in. I sold for 890. So that was actually my best sell on that. I was at 1041. So bought, sold right here. So at this point I didn't have this white tapering channel either. Buy to open call. Oh, okay, yeah, look at this. So calls at 1058. I canceled it. And then 1059 I got calls. Now this trade. This trade is what was legit because they didn't have the green there. Somehow Emperor looks like he caught it. And I guess that's just because I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, he says he put it in right here. I don't know. Why wouldn't he buy it when it's testing magenta here and breaking the blue? Or I don't know. For whatever reason, he picked it up here. And I also picked it up there for a retracement. But mine was for a different reason. Mine was because it broke this green. And then it also was making this tapering white, which he didn't put this in here. But I put that in there. Which I think ended up being legit also. And then I had this yellow for my stop. So, where was that exactly? This trade ended up doing like 300%. 1059. Yep, right here. So broke the green. It was on the retest. There's not really structure here. I mean, technically you say a tiny little inverse head and shoulder, but really this is just playing the algos, I guess, for the retracement. So picked up right here. And I kind of wasn't paying a whole lot of attention at this point. I was stoked about the trades back here, and I was like, all right, might get a little retrace. I don't really know. I'm just going to this one I kind of want to be more passive about how I manage it. So I started doing kind of some other stuff. I started grinding up. I'm like, all right, I'll set an alert for yellow, gold, which I started getting away from pretty quick. I'm like, oh boy. And then I put red. I set an alert for that. If it broke that, I was like, I'll just sell one then. Or like white. So I kind of expected maybe to sell one at white. Like that might be the resistance. It might keep climbing down there. So anyways, I guess got sidetracked a little bit there, but bought it for 710, sold the next one, sold the first one at 1106 for 920. So like I said, I was a little bit early on this one, but I sold one right here. So just nice big green candle. I liked it. I didn't have this blue there at that point. Thinking it might stop here. So I wasn't like perfectly at the top there. I was like here, but it was still a nice little gain. I don't even know what that was. 710 920, and then I had one more which I sold at 1113, which yeah, it's kind of crazy. But so it ended up breaking this. I guess that should have been my first clue, but I didn't have a whole lot of conviction on this. I just drawn this in. I'm like, I don't know if this is, it kind of looks legit because it broke it here and retested on that one candle. So I'm like, yeah, maybe, but I guess that should have been a clue. Well, no. So this is right. I sold it. It broke the red here. That's gonna be my second stop, or my second profit, because this is a retracement trade. It's not continuation at this point. So you don't know how high it's gonna go, basically. So this is definitely a gift. It did this, and then of course it went much further. But another one, yeah, I probably would have said VWAP or top of this to complete the cup, which would have been right there, which would have also been 20 day, which would have been perfect. But I didn't. So on my second one, I sold it right there. And then that contract went another 100% from here up to here. So left some on the table there, but that's fine. Totally stoked on that one. Because I guess just my entry, I was so pleased. Like, if you're just looking at a bare chart and you just see this, and you're like, why would you get calls there? It's because these lines. Shout out Spy Day Trading on YouTube, Eric. So that one is there. And then, yeah, midday I kind of overtraded, unfortunately. 53, I was in, out at 57. I can show you my reasoning. It's just good like to have a timer and just like be very careful. If I feel like it wasn't in a wedge, but apparently it was, because and then this one I kind of missed. This is why I actually started overtrading then, I think. So, well, first of all, I closed that one and then it went another 100% from there. I'm like, oh gosh, should have just, I don't know. I guess I stuck to it. It was more my first sell. I was like, I could have held a little longer. And then my second one, it was like, yeah, I wasn't too upset, but just the fact that it did end up doing that move all the way to complete that cup, I was like, oh, another 100% would have been sick, and it didn't. I didn't get it. So, anyways, and then it was kind of just doing this roller coaster, real smooth price action up and down. Built some liquidity here at 20 day, and then I like wasn't really super focused at this point. I was just kind of chilling. It's time to eat. Got some food, came down, and it's hard to see it because all these lines now, but remember this gold? Look at the support. I put it on the support. So I get it here and here for an entry. Retested there. Look at this perfect bounce on it. Made a shoulder, came down, bounced on gold perfectly with that inverse head. It's kind of like, yeah, that would have been a really nice entry. This is what I'm trying to say. With the gold being the stop. I'm not trying to catch the puts there because, yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what. Yeah, it just seems like it's in a wedge. But this, to me, is the bottom of the channel and an easy spot to have a stop. So, as well as this cup that just completed here to here. So nice handle, and then yeah, just have gold as your stop and just ride this thing up. Didn't catch that one. Came up here. I'm not gonna review all the trades. I got whipsawed in here though. I'll just tell you where. You can tell. Let's see. So this was the top of the white, and then that was the very, very top. The top of that white, broke it, came down, retested. So I got calls, and then I put this blue one in, which actually ended up being legit also, and I didn't see those guys having this either. Look at the resistance on this thing. It's perfect. And then a support here, kind of broke through it here, but made a little inverse head and shoulders, which I saw and I considered, but I didn't. Yeah, anyways. Right here, it broke gold. So when it came down here, look at this, 1255. This is just like my worst time of trading. I'm thinking upside, breaks this green, comes up, retest the top with this blue. Gold is my bottom, blue is my top. It's coming into like a little triangle wedge here thing. I'm not sure if I had this blue. Yeah, I did have that blue. Anyways, it came here. I got calls. I'm gonna catch them at the support. Broke below it. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's not happening. So I closed out. And then, of course, what I do, I got puts because it broke it. And then it comes up here and it closes above it. So I close them. I'm like, well, now it's inverse head and shoulder, and that's not right. So then I got calls again. Yeah, a few slips like that, and you're giving back a lot of your profits, especially if you're not getting opens on the opposite candles. So I whipsaw a little bit in here, unfortunately. And then I just like stopped for a bit because like that's enough. Until, yes, I think this is, yeah. So this came up here. I'm like, there's no way I could have entered that because this just kept bouncing off the 20 day. And unless I had a perfect entry on 20 day and then a stop below it, I'm not going to catch this, which I'm fine with. So it came up, made a nice little shoulder here, came up, made a head, retesting the top of that blue, which at this point I was like, this might be a serious channel. And then came down, grabbed that shoulder, does this, and then I'm like, all right, well, here's my gold for my stop. What time is that at? 13:53. That's 153. Yeah, you can see those trades in there. That. So right here, bought puts, 2 puts at 153. Put a stop, canceled it because it was just kind of jumping around. So I'm sorry, 154. Yeah, this trade is awesome also. So right here, 154. yeah, so it retested this, and then I kind of waited a second. I waited for this one, so I got on this one and put in green, but this was my stop. A nice big fleshy candle, grabbing all this little liquidity right here. My take profit on here, so I've got purple in there, I've got green. I'm like, well, VWAP would be nice, which is also the bottom is blue. But man, these contracts moved. So 480 is where I picked that up at. Sold the first one at 202, which was 7 minutes later, or no, 8 minutes later for 10 bucks. That was over 100%. Where is that at? Yeah, this nice big candle. I sold it like right at VWAP. Also completing that inverse cup. And yeah, the next one was even a better fill, 1360 at 203. So I probably didn't perfectly bottom tick that 202 because I got so much better on the 203. So this one retested that, and that's why I sold it. I'm like, well, I'd like to keep runners, but middle of the day, this is well over 100%. I'm just going to sell this one also. If it flushes through, I'll get on a retrace if it does. Let's see. Yeah, so that was 480 to 1360. So that I think was the highest percentage winner today, and that paid for some stupid stops earlier. And a couple more green than red. Let's see, 216 to 223. Is that right? Yeah. Oh, right here. Yeah, I got a little whipsaw in here too. Head and Shoulders did break it. Thankfully I sold it there. This thing was up a lot more, but it was selling so slow. I was like, I didn't like it anyways. And then this candle broke this, and I just sold it. And then the next one actually wasn't quite break even. It was a little bit red, unfortunately. But yeah, it's because it broke this one. And then it made that nice little inverse Head and Shoulders, albeit a little choppy. And also at VWAP and 20-day, and kind of a bad time of day to even be trading. I mean, 230 is actually not bad. So I think institutions come in at like 2 to do their buying and selling. A lot of times you get action around then, which I guess we kind of got a little bit there too. This one was nice. So next setup for me was this. So it broke here. I was preoccupied, which was fine. I'm like, all right, broke. I'm not going to get it here. It's this time of day. I'm going to wait for it to retrace, build liquidity. I wasn't even too sure about it because it just broke on this blue, and I'm like, I'm not really sure where this thing wants to go. Didn't complete the cup, but again, still broke this orange. I was like, I'll look for a retest. Came down, perfectly retested. At this point, I'm looking at my small account. I'm like, I should probably do another trade on that thing. And that's what I was going to do a trade on, because I had at least one or two, like one good one left with a few contracts. It tests here, and I'm like, I was like, no, I don't want to take this one because it's just not great looking. This is my stop. When the stop's going against me, it's just not as comfortable. Tested here, I'm like, my stop would be this or this breaking. So it could, of course, just grind down this. I was just a little scared money with the small account on this trade. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let this one go. This ended up being like the best trade. I guess I could have taken it with the big account just because I'm a little more loose on that one. But yeah, this time of day too, like if I hadn't over traded in here, got whipsawed so much with the big account, I maybe would have been had more mental clarity to just take that one and have the focus. But since I did, and I was just seeing how quick contracts decayed, I mean, like midday contracts are they're down. You have little candles and you're down 20%. The candle didn't even hardly move. It's just the nature of middle of the day on 0 days. So this one probably multiple hundreds of percent. And I didn't take it with a small one. I'm like, oh, bugger. So yeah, that was the last nice trade. I did get puts on the small account right here that ended up just grinding up, and sold those for a small loss. They were pretty far out of the money though, so it actually didn't move a whole lot. So on the small account, small red day, which is nice, only down $8. I feel like I traded well though. My only issue was, did I even have? Yeah. I just didn't have big enough profits earlier on. That was it. Because there was only 2 trades. Yeah, it was only 2 trades today. This move just wasn't very big, which is fine. I wasn't up very much on this move here in the beginning of the day. And then I missed this one, which ended up being the last trade. I'm still pleased though on the big account. I'm happy about this entry right here for calls. I think that was awesome. And then this entry right here for puts I think was good. The only one I really missed was, I guess you could say inverse head and shoulders here, but I'm not bummed about that. This retest was like textbook. If it was a little bit closer to this, like if it came down right here, yes, 100% would have been in it, but it's just a little high and I was, eh. And then you're like, okay, well, that's on the wick. So what if I just had that on the body? It's like, oh, it's a little closer. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Monday, 6th round. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.